Um, cool. So just give us the background. So your community college, learning, design, Photoshop, all that stuff, right? So tell me what you're learning and tell me where you want to go and maybe your dream job.
All right. Well, right now, currently for my summer term, I'm in community college right now. My summer term has me doing, English for the, background stuff. But I'm, as far as what I'm interested in, what I consider core competencies, is Adobe Illustrator, which that's going to be the last class that I'm going to take for my route of my community college's certifications for a webmaster certification. Just I'm picking it up on the way through my degree path. Um, I've already taken Dreamweaver, InDesign, Photoshop, and Adobe Animate, and those were all a blast. I had a lot of fun with them. I found a passion. I'm finding that I really enjoy the coursework and stuff like that. And as far as where I want to go, I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think, I mean, somewhere in web development, and I know that user interface, user experience, or UI UX is is a big is an important part of that. So I am probably going to end up getting pulled more towards that direction. Although coding also interests me a lot too. So I'm just trying to figure all that out.
So what do you know about UI UX like right now? What does that entail from your perspective with your current skills?
What I know about it is like just basically, I don't know, I would say like a passing definition of it. Like when you go to a website, how you interact with that website's tools. Like when you go to Amazon, where the search bar is, how that search bar like autofills, what happens when you hit enter. When you click on certain links, will it open up a new tab or a new window, or will it just open in the same pane that you're looking at? Generally, that's about as far as I know. I mean, like radio buttons, check boxes, text fields, submit buttons, and things like that. Just like cursory knowledge about UI UX.
Tell me, what do you know about like usability? What does that mean to you right now?
Uh, I don't know. I'd have to do a shot in the dark. Say like usability would be like how well a site works. So not only um, like how well it is for like a user to go on and be able to find the things they want to find in menus and whatnot, but also do you have any broken links? Do you have any things that stick on the screen when they're supposed to like hide back away on a sidebar or whatever, or any kind of like menu expansion that like when you hover, does your link in does your link, like when you hover over a link, does it just do the text or does it do a whole block of space? I think that would go into it, but I'm hoping I just talked my way through that.
So pretty close, pretty close. Usability, they're going to ask you this. They're going to be like, tell me what you know about usability. It's generally defined as how hard or how difficult a task is for the user. Say that the user has a form, they need to fill out their information. How difficult is to navigate that form? How difficult is it for them to input their information and save it? Do you have any errors? There's kind of a rule of thumb. If it's 3 clicks away, it's too far away. So
Okay.
that's why modals are so popular. But you don't want to have, if you want to get to 1.3 clicks is generally like the max you want to go. Anything after that is too many clicks away for the user. Um, and then what also determines user usability is basically their satisfaction within the app. Like, are they satisfied using the app? Is it usable for them? Like, what do they think of it? Um, so there's another thing here about kind of design. There's like a group out there. It's called like the Norman Group, I think, and basically UI and UX are like learnability, efficiency, memorability, errors, and satisfaction. Um, so like findability of an item or desirability, like it can the user find what they're looking for on the app? Like how long does that take? I know this is kind of like R&D soft skills type stuff, but this is like user experience to the T. you know what user stories are?
Um, no, I mean, I may have heard of it, but I don't think that I wouldn't be able to tell you a good definition of it.
Okay,
I mean,
so
maybe reviews of something, I guess.
so in a lot of job postings, they're gonna be like, "Tell us your experience with user stories." That's just a really complicated way of saying you asked people to use your app. And if you ask strangers to use your app, they have an even fancier word. It's called guerrilla testing. Just because you just go up to people and you're like, "Hey, use this app. Hey, use this app. Hey, use this app." It's not. It's better than asking your friends because generally your friends are gonna be biased and they're gonna tell you what you want. But then again, you might catch people at a bad time, and guerrilla testing isn't always the best answer, but it's a fast way to generate like a bunch of different opinions. I've seen that in a lot of job postings. Tell us about your experience with usability. Do you have a portfolio? Are you working on that? How's that look?
It's my portfolio per se would be really just my school assignments, projects, and stuff that I've done right. I'm going to be working on this summer. My wife is on the board of a nonprofit group that assists for our son's elementary school, and so their website is basically non-existent. And so I'm going to get with their board president and get some input from them and do like thumbnails and try to draw just a basic website and see if I can help them out with that. So I'm going to use that to build something that I can do.
So we have one question in the chat. Does accessibility fall into UI and UX? And I would say it falls into UI and UX from a color standpoint. From a usability standpoint, that's more the front end developer. They have to give the HTML, the hard coded classes to do it. But from a from a person's perspective that has like some sort of color blindness, that's your job to figure out what palette you need to use, and then you give that to me, and then I make it so that when they tab around the page, they tab to the right elements at the right time, and the screen reader can read so they know exactly where they're at on the page. So that's a little bit of both. Hope that answers your question, Tavi. Um, what else? I remember now. Have you done any wireframing? Tell us about your wireframes.
Just like when I had an HTML class and a CSS class, uh, I just had to do, it was part of the assignment on doing the projects we had to do. And I think one of them, we had like a hotel website we were carrying as a project through the entire course, and we did like a wireframe on a couple different types of like layouts of like 3 column or 5 column or 2 column design, and like where we were going to put the menu if it was going to be like a top bar or a sidebar or something like that.
What kind of
And
program
like
did you use for that to do it?
for that, I just used like I did a lot of the stuff for my CSS course in brackets, but like as far as doing the wireframing, just like drew it on a piece of paper. I didn't do anything super official with it. It was like draw it on paper and then do a scan and send it in because it was an online class. But I did a little bit of mock-up stuff with Dreamweaver in the fall class for the Adobe Dreamweaver class I had. And that was a lot of fun too.
That's pretty sweet. Um, have you ever worked with balsamic? Have you ever heard of balsamic?
No, that's a definitely a vinegar that I put on my salad.
Okay, so definitely the correct answer, of course. Um, but it's like a 30-day free, I think, and then it's like the Windows version of Sketch, I want to say. I mean, Sketch can do mockups a lot better. Um, but I think your answer is better than my explanation. So, have you worked with Sketch before?
No, just pen and paper sketch is the only thing I've done.
I mean, that's not even bad though. That's like actually what a lot of people do. They flip over a napkin, they have an idea, and they write it down. Like that's not outdated or anything. It's just part of creativity.
Mhm.
Um, so where do you want to be? Like, where do you see yourself 5 years? I know you kind of want to do both, right? But like,
Yeah.
where do you want to go? What's your if you could pick a dream job, what would it be?
I have like two versions. One would be to run my own small business web development firm where I'm just doing projects as they come to me or as I can get them, with a focus on helping veterans who have small businesses, whether they're doing an electrician's business, carpentry, or whatever they're doing, and they need a website, but they know nothing about web development. So that's where I'd come in and help them out. It doesn't have to be veterans, but I'd focus on them. Anybody who would help out. That would be a lot of fun where I'm doing the coding and helping them with the design, getting the customer inputs, getting the media from them that they want on there, how they want the layout and stuff. The other way would be to work for a firm where I'm able to have resources and benefits and things of that nature, where I could do where it even if I'm only on the UI UX side, I know enough where I could communicate effectively with the guys that are or the folks that are doing coding, or even vice versa. I mean, if I was on the coding side, if I ended up there, and I would be able to work effectively with people on the graphic design side.
So to a certain extent, it's expected of you to know front end. You don't have to. So there's a few different combinations. As I was telling you before we started stream, there's UI UX, there's UI front end, UX front end. Any combination of the three. But the most difficult to do both in as a single role, because normally they hire front end or UI UX, is what you want to do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm just saying it's best suited for people looking to do something themselves and not be in a larger company. Have you tried freelance yet?
Not quite yet. I'm not confident. Oh, and that kind of comes into my where I'm still starting out phase. Is I've not built myself confidence to do freelance stuff yet. I'm not willing to take money for where I feel my skills are at. I'm gonna reach out a little bit, do some volunteer work, like I mentioned
That
earlier.
still counts as freelance, though.
Oh, okay. Well, then with
You,
that, I have one that's coming up then
yeah,
over
you
this
don't
summer.
have to tell people that you were paid or not paid for a project. That's not required. No one's gonna be like, "Were you paid for this?" Like, because that's a weird question. Number one. So
Mhm.
if you're doing projects for free, you better be putting them on your portfolio. I mean, there's a difference between a free volunteer project for like a company, and then like building something for yourself for your own portfolio. Because it
Okay.
doesn't matter if you were paid or not, because someone else is like using your material, and then you can use them as a recommendation. So not only do you get the practice, you get to build that like initial clientele that people can, well, yeah, call them up. They'll see that I did it. They're not going to be like, how much did you pay them? Normally they don't ask that.
Okay.
That'd be a very strange question. Um,
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, yeah, I automatically kind of thought about that when I hear freelance, thinking about like, you just picking up jobs here and there. But yeah, yeah, I'm definitely working on starting that up here the next few months. See what I can do.
are you
Some,
using? I assume that you're just using like Dreamweaver to build these things.
yeah, I'll be using Dreamweaver, and for like simpler stuff, I'll use like brackets. But like if it's gonna do bootstrap stuff and be responsive web design, then I'll do with Dreamweaver because I don't know enough about Java or jQuery to do anything with that yet. I don't know any about it.
Okay, so you don't necessarily need to know the fundamentals of JavaScript to do a good UI, good UX. There's a lot of libraries out there that you kind of just import now. jQuery, I would say, would be an easy one if you want to add transitions. It would be good if you knew React. That's like a huge bonus if you dabble in that a little bit, um, just so that you can understand where the developers are coming from. Um, but I would say that that's like a huge advantage. What about, are they teaching you like what about agile methodologies? Familiar with those?
No. Um,
Okay, all right. So it's fine. It's all good. So basically, what that is you work in sprints, and sometimes you have stories with points. And so basically, you have like a review before you start, and you estimate how much time each task is going to take, and you give it a certain amount of points, and then you um, basically do the entire project with a set number of points, and you kind of divide that out over the amount of tasks that you think that you need to complete the entire project. So that way, the managers and stuff can see upcoming like difficult tasks and stuff. But generally, at like a high level, it's just like 2 week sprints are you work 2 weeks and then you see what went well and what didn't go well, and if you have anything remaining, or you need to adjust your points or carry anything over from the next week. But it's just where you have a set amount of tasks every 2 weeks. This is not like it varies company to company. Like I don't really do sprints because there's only like 3 people. So smaller companies have their own weird version of it. And then larger companies use like agile methodologies, and they're like super strict. Like some just do like 2 week sprints type deal. Some of them don't even use the points. Most of them don't use the points. It depends on the managers, like how much they want to. Sometimes it can be more tedious to keep up with all that, but there's generally a job just for that called product manager, or the scrum master, whatever you want to call him. That's his job, is just to track all that stuff and make sure devs have everything they need to do their job. They're going to ask you this when you apply for a UI UX job for sure. They're going to be like, have you applied this? It's okay if you say no, but they're going to want to know that you know what that is and that what they expect of you. Cool. So, let's see. Are you willing to wear like a lot of different hats? I assume you are because you want to.
Yeah, I already kind of want to have my toes in the water. Like if I ever got a job where my main focus was to do both sides of it, where it was coding and graphic design, that'd be really awesome. But yeah, I'm no stranger to wearing a bunch of different hats. I mean, I've done a lot of different jobs simultaneously in my professional career and different jobs and stuff. Comfortable with it. Uh,
That's pretty sweet. So another question here. Where do you find your inspiration from? Like, do you go to websites? Do you ever hit that creative wall? I can give you some sites.
yeah, I've definitely hit creative walls before, and like I don't know, like inspiration can really come from anywhere. I've had it just kind of like walking around, and I'll see something that maybe is a certain color, and it'll like, okay, cool, I can kind of, it just makes me think of something, and then my train of thought will go in in places where if it wasn't me, like if anybody else had access to look at how my thought process was going, they would have no idea how it would make sense where I arrive where I do. But I'll see something or think of something, just get me rolling. Sometimes it's even music, or when it comes to other websites, I'll go for inspiration on um like how a menu might roll out. I didn't think about that before, or like when I hover over links, how like a sub menu might expand out or something like
That works. Yeah, no, for sure. So there's a couple websites that I always go to if I'm like looking for some, I don't know, some new like slick websites. One of them's called Awards with 3 W's, and
that. Okay.
another one is called Product Hunt. So Product Hunt is like the Reddit. Product Hunt is like the Reddit of mobile applications and other applications. So people just upvote them and downvote them to like whatever's new and upcoming. So those are some places that you can look. Um, so there's one thing that you should start playing with. It's called Marvel. Have you ever heard of Marvel?
I think I mean, yeah, I've heard of it, and not like what most people are thinking of. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I've heard it like once, maybe twice, and it wasn't in a conversation I was involved in. It was somebody else was talking about it. It's kind of over.
We're
It
just talking
was
about superheroes. No, but for
yeah,
real, it's a website where you can create an interactive application without any code. So you create the designs, and you have to go in and be like, if you click this button, it opens this menu, and then you'd have the design with the menu there. And so it gives people an easy way to like walk through. Um, Basically, you could design the application and show it to an executive team. This is what I did at work. Well, I didn't do that, but my boss did. And basically, they're like, what do you think about this? So it's an easy way to show prospective clients what you can do and what it would look like without actually having to get in there and do the development. Um, yeah, so there's Marvel, InVision, Adobe. I use Marvel. So Adobe XD is free right now. I assume that you know that.
yeah.
Yeah. Marvel, I think, has a free account. Interface is a little bit different. It's all online. So we got Dion. Yeah, it's basically just a static prototype. I find those are really good if you want to go freelancing. So what you can do ahead of time is like go to them with the prototype. Like I've already researched yours. I made a little design. This is what I think I could do without having to explain yourself. You can just be like, here's a link, click through it. Um,
Okay.
just tell me if I'm ranting, dude. I'm just trying to come up with
No,
content. This was like a last minute stream.
no, that's good. That's a really good option because then you can. I mean, most people, especially if you're talking about things that are intangible like websites, it's good to show people something instead of. I mean, you can tell them until you're blue in the face, they may not get it, and but then until they actually see it and actually able to feel and touch around on the website and nose around and see what how oh, I don't like how this opens to the left. I want it to open to the right instead, or whatever.
So, when do you think you're going to start applying to jobs? This is a trick question.
I'm I'm thinking probably sometime in 2019. I'm going to start just touching around looking for small projects I can get on to kind of bolster my portfolio, my confidence, and my skills. I still want to look around at learning more code stuff so that I have that in my back pocket. But I think that um, because like right now I'm also doing school and I'm working full time with my regular job right now that has nothing to do with web development whatsoever. Um, but yeah, I'm thinking that probably 2019 I'm gonna start looking around. So I'll finish up this year with I have PHP coming in the fall semester is what I'm planning on doing, and I'll start jumping in on looking around for some small projects I can get on, just to try to build myself up from there.
So, I would say that you should already be doing that and you shouldn't wait for PHP.
Really,
Yeah, I mean, they might say no, but if they don't, then you have the chance to learn and like provide value for someone. And it doesn't matter if you fail. Like it really doesn't because you'll learn more than if you try yourself. Because well, I don't know if you work this way, right? Because you'll have like a little bit of a fire under you. Like I have to get this right. I mean, if it stresses you out, don't do it. And if you, the confidence thing that you mentioned, like build my confidence, that will come after you do it. There's not a point where your confidence goes like up and you're like, holy crap, I think I'm good. Like that doesn't happen. Maybe it doesn't for me. Maybe it happens for you. Um,
maybe.
but I think
I
if
don't
you
know
were to
yet.
just apply, the worst they can say is no, right? So, yeah, like Captain Splash here says, like on the job training is the best way to learn. Um, and so
It's
even
true.
then, you could do it like for free. Or what I do if I really want to just build my portfolios, I just barter, which is what I did when I walked down to the deli down the road. I was like, I want to make you guys a new website. Of course, they think I'm trying to scam them at first, and like, well, who are you? Get this camera out of here, because I was filming it, which was like a little bit. I don't know. She looked like she was gonna chase me out of the establishment, but it's more of like the intangibles, so I can build them as like a reference when I go to the next place. I can be like, I've done this, 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 and this. They don't have to know that you haven't been paid, but the fact that you have a client list near them that they might know is good. But I just bartered for a sandwich. I was like, how about I do this for you for free, and then whenever I come in, I can just get a sandwich. And they're like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Because like, if you give it for free, sometimes it seems like that's too good. Why are you doing this? But you don't want to ask for money because you don't want to like super disappoint. So just barter for something intangible. Um,
That's a good idea.
it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be always like dollar value. It's just like just barter for whatever, you know.
All
But that's what I've done. Like when I got that car for my dad, I bartered with the guy. I didn't put it in the video. I was like, look, because I'll put your dealership in here, and you're putting me on Facebook. Can I get like $100 off or something, right? Because like a lot of people are gonna see your tags. They're gonna be like, I converted an awkward experience into something that provided value for both people. And I'm not a salesman by any means. I don't think. I've read
right.
some sales books, but that doesn't make you a salesman. Like, sales is more about, I guess I would say, like psychology. You have to make them feel like they want the product rather than selling the qualities of a product. It's all about the
Yeah.
feels. People buy on emotion, not facts. I don't know. I don't know how this got from UI to sales, but um, if you want a value proposition for freelancing and you don't want to get paid, just barter with them for an intangible.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's something I've I mean, and it's something that I've told people before, especially recently. Somehow, people have asked me, oh, I want to do this or that or the other, but I'm not sure. I said, make them tell you no. So I really haven't been thinking about taking my own advice, and yeah, I'm really glad that I've done this because now I can. And absolutely, I forgot who said it, but on the OJT is the best way to learn, to get experience. I mean, when I graduated high school, I joined the Navy. I didn't know anything about fixing airplanes, and and 10 years later, it was my passion, and man, it was great. And so now I'm just trying to find a new passion, and I'm finding it. And
I
now,
think. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think your number one priority, if you're going to be in the creative and design world, is your portfolio. And so there's a lot, like one person in chat says you should never work for free. Only idiots work for free. Like, that's not true when you're a beginner and you want to build a client list. You start out free, sure, but you're not an expert really either. Then you start out free. Maybe your second or third, you start charging actual dollar value. But the first one is just about proving that you can do something, not only to them but to yourself. Like, oh, okay, I did that. Maybe I am worth charging some money now. I think just in the creative space, you need to have a portfolio. Just same thing with like even code mainly. They just need to see what you can do, and having people know that they can work with you, rather than you working for them, you're working with them. That always like builds that trust,
yeah,
But I think the worst that could happen is if you just start applying and then they say no. Especially if you offer to do it for free for like a startup. So go on AngelList, look at their websites. It's usually made by the CTO. CTO is really busy doing all the engineering stuff, and you're like, yo, I'm a new, fresh person, and I've been experimenting. I want to kind of do over your site for free. You don't have to use it if you don't want. Like, obviously, they're not, just to get your foot in the door. So like, what happened to me when I called a car place, I was like, I really like your website, or I think your website could use some TLC or something. I tried to be really nice about it and say I live nearby and be all local and stuff. And then he hung up the phone on me. So what I did is I called back and I pretended to be a satisfied customer. And I was like, I really appreciate the work you did on my car, and I just want to give back to you. Let me just make you a site, and I think you guys could use some help. It's a family-run business. I'm just so satisfied with the work you done on my car. And they didn't even question it. They were just like, so it built like that rapport,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that if I can cut in, just I think that one point to make is that if you don't charge somebody and you do work for them, you're not working for free. You're working for experience, and and everyone's gonna have a different take on that. But I think that's important to keep in mind, like especially for the what I'm thinking about for myself, and maybe you can help somebody else out there. Is that if you do a small project for somebody and you don't charge them any money, or you don't get any kind of physical item from it or whatever, you're still gaining experience for it, and you're going to retain that art too that you can show in your portfolio later on. So I mean that's something to keep in mind, I think.
I mean, there comes a certain time when you don't want to be for free. Like if you're trying to sell something and some guy comes back and says, "Hey, you're too expensive. Can we, come at it like a discount? Can I get like a 30% discount? Can we lower this price somehow?" And you just say, this is how you handle it. You just be like, all right, if you were a salesman, if you were working with me and I were to just come down 30% right away when you first ask, would you trust me? Or do you believe in the value of my work? Like, so there comes like, there's also this book that I read. There was this guy selling a dresser, or he was giving away a dresser on the side of the road, and it said free dresser, come take it. No one took it. So he put a sign on it that said dresser, $50, and it was stolen within like 3 hours. So, you don't want to undervalue yourself. But like at first, you're your own boss. Like it's not about the money. It's about, the skills. I think we've talked about that. Well, so we got some questions.
Cool.
Let's see. What do I advise regarding non-disclosure agreements? You should. So this happened at my job. Well, I had a government job, and the UI UX person there had only had a couple jobs, but for an extended period of time. And the other one was like years back, and then he'd been working his government job, which is obviously NDA, secret clearance, all that stuff. He basically had to negotiate and be like, can I take some of this if I ever don't need to go, like before, he accepted, he's like, look, a portfolio is my life. This is how I get a job. This is how I support myself. This is my livelihood. If I can't show this to someone else, then I can't, then I'm not going to be able to get a job. So you just have to be upfront about it, Elliot. Just make sure that you always mention that. Don't let yourself get trapped in that, because then you end up working, have all this great experience that you can't show anyone. That happened to me, actually, because I was doing the front end code for that, and a lot of people are like, we need to see your GitHub, and I'm like, well, I had to push the code to a private repository. You can't see it, and you're never going to see it. Otherwise, I go to jail. And then, so, yeah, that's hope. Does that help, Elliot? I think you muted your microphone, by the way.
No, I'm just being quiet.
Oh, okay. Do you guys have any other questions we can tackle regarding UI UX? Any questions you want to know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my only thing has been like the question that I've had on my mind is like, how the hell do I break into, like, it's what it feels like. It's not really breaking into it. Like, how do I get into it? I mean, because all the jobs I've had have been more traditional. I mean, military, and then a traveling repair type person for an analytics company and stuff like that. And my current job is, defense contractor. It's like, it's more traditional stuff. Like, okay, you can fix airplanes, or you can, solder wires together. But like, I had training. Like, okay, look, here's, I went to school for, X amount of time to learn this, blah 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 blah. But with this, it's a little more, um, or it's a lot less black and white, a lot less, hard line of like, this is what you got to do.
But the skill ceiling on it is unlimited. It's not, because it's up to you. The more you work, the more you earn, type deal. It's on you to do it. And some people don't like those jobs. Some people like, this is how high I can get. This is the job I expect, and this is what I'm going to do. But in this particular field, it's on you to make yourself look good and like stay up to date. But as far as like breaking into it, you just have to apply and keep getting lots of no's until someone says, what do you have to show us? And there's your moment to shine. I don't know. I would just do it right now just to see what they say, because I can tell you what to do all day, but when you apply, they're going to give you like actual feedback, or they might just tell you no. But when they do, just be like, can you tell me why, please? And they'll either respond with one, no, we cannot do that by law, blah, 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 libel, slander stuff, or they'll be like, maybe they'll tell you, depending on how big the company is. If it's corporate, they'll probably hit you with no response. They just won't respond.
Okay.
So we got one question from Karam. Where should you start as a freelancer? Basically, there's a few websites. We got Upwork, and there's another one. So I don't know if you're in the U.S. On Upwork.com, you can check a button that says only jobs in the U.S. You can go and apply there. Just be careful. There's some people that want to rip you off. There's some people that have obvious tasks that take an entire day, and they're only offering like $20. So 8 hours divided by like $20, right? But if you want experience and to have a portfolio, and you're doing something for yourself on Saturday just to learn, it might be a good chance to try there. That's so Upwork is a good place. AngelList. AngelList is a good place. The other awkward way that is hard for people is to walk in and be like, hey, can I help you out? That's because people are like, all right, well, what's in it for you every single time? So you have to diffuse that as soon as possible, and that just takes the ability to communicate pretty much. So this is where you barter or pretend to know them from previously instead of trying to sell them something right away. Mm-hmm. Does that help? There's not a do XYZ to freelance. You start out with your friends, right? And what if I don't have any friends or family that know anything about this? That's fine. Go to the next step. Go to Upwork. There's one more website that I can't remember. Oh, like there's Craigslist and KSL. Those are people that are looking for places. Look for contract roles. Essentially, a contract role is freelance. So AngelList, and then look for contractor.
All right. That helps out a lot, especially like going to like the mom and pop stores around your town. Like, not all of them will have a website, and if they do, it probably sucks.
Don't call them and don't email them because they will ghost you. I know this from experience. I got hung up on like 9 times in a day. I was gonna do a stream where it has to be during the middle of the day, and I would just call businesses and just be like, "Hey, can I make you a website?" And you can just watch them hang up on me because that's not how it works. You can, unless you like pretend to be a really satisfied customer. Okay, so we got one more question. So he wants to know if he can work a second job. I would say absolutely work a side hustle. If you're not working a side hustle, um, I mean, okay, if you want that work-life balance, then you do you. But if the opportunity's there and you want to do it, absolutely do it. Any employer who says don't do it, don't work for that employer. My employer knows. Actually, most people at my job have 2 jobs. A lot of them are doing side hustles anyways because they're like, if you're trying to improve, like as long as you're getting the work done, right? You're getting everything expected. You're hitting the deadlines. Like we don't care what you do. If we ask you to do overtime, whatever, then you do overtime for us. But what you do when you're not working for us is fine. Like I think that employers should respect the fact that you're trying to improve yourself outside of their hours, not be greedy about you and be like, oh no, we can only have you. Like it's that happened to me. And I did a UI UX interview, and they told me that I would have to quit YouTube, I would have to quit teaching, I would have to quit doing anything other than they wanted me to design for them 200% of the time. So number one, it's a startup, so 200% of the time means 80 hours a week. No, thank you. Basically, it's safe to say they told me I didn't get that job, but that's okay. I don't want to work for you. It was just I wouldn't. If you can't work a side hustle, don't work at that job. People should respect you for wanting to grow instead of going home and watching TV. I understand if you have like family and kids, you can go spend time with them, but like if you're not doing anything productive or being with your family, then I mean whatever. But if you want to do that, then employers should respect that. Like I have a Audible subscription, and the boss at the company is just like, yeah, get whatever you want, because if you're trying to improve yourself, that's perfect for us. Like, because if you improve, the company improves. So I don't know. That's my rant.
No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, and I think like there's other companies like especially like bigger companies, and it depends on what line of work. Like outside of like web development, they'll be like no moonlighting as anything else. Blah, blah, blah. But I think those are usually ones where you're getting paid like 85,000 plus a year, or $100,000 a year or something like that, and they want you to be there all the time or whatever. But
That's not gonna happen. I'm gonna do what I want, no matter what. Like, if you don't want me to improve outside of the time I'm working for you, then I don't want to work for you because you don't respect progress or like personal goals. It's like if I want to get better and you don't want me to get better, okay, well then essentially I would say you're just a hater. But like if that's a CEO, then CEO's a hater. Whatever, I don't care. Let me see. What else we got in here? Selling custom websites. So Brody, I would say selling a custom website. You're maybe thinking overboard here. I'm thinking go to html5up.com, grab some photos, rearrange some things, add some content, and then post it on a static website like GoDaddy or 000 Web Host or wherever else. That is literally just a template. A WordPress you actually have to pay for to host, whereas an HTML static site you can serve up almost for free. So a WordPress is going to end up costing you more usually. But I take that back. WordPress has some ability to have a backend. So like with a static site, just click around. Here's some links that you don't need a backend, just HTML, CSS, which is relatively quick to make. With a WordPress, you can have a backend and people can log in. They have a store. You can have a WooCommerce plugin. It's like Shopify for WordPress. So if you want to make an e-commerce site, I don't know. Maybe that helps. I don't know. Do you have the chat open?
No, actually,
You should take some questions, bro. I mean, it's two-way street. I don't want you to just like stare into the abyss while I answer questions and you just nod. Like, it's interactive. Take some questions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. No. Now I have it. I guess
Okay,
now I
cool.
have it.
So, let me see here. Elliot says applied after meetup. Web design company. Taking AdWords certification, HTML, no web experience. That's fine. That's great, dude. Marketing is a huge part. If you can market in this business, so say you're creating the website and then you know how to market it, that's like super helpful. Not a lot of people know AdWords, and there's like tutorials and books, and like even marketing degrees don't teach you the hard skills of like, here's Facebook, here's a pixel tracker that you include inside the links of your URLs so that you can follow them and see their cart. Like, marketing degrees do not teach you that. You learn that from OJT, on-the-job training. So marketing is actually a huge deal. There's actually going to be a huge influx of digital marketers. Instagram, basically, marketing is psychology. So if you know how to grab people's attention, you win. Did you miss a lot? I mean, I don't know. We're just talking about UI, UX, breaking into the biz. More of the creative side today. No React buzzwords. Next, Jen, Ben, yo, what's up, dude? Dion. Brief description of the level of knowledge one should have before applying to jobs. Okay. I think, Ivan, you're web dev, so I'll answer that from a web dev's perspective. You need to know HTML5, you need to know CSS, you need to know Sass, you need to know Webpack, Babel, ES6, React, or some other front-end framework. You need to know what MVCs are. You need to know how to do inner joins for SQL. You need to know how to search SQL, and jQuery for sure. What else here? Maybe a back-end language if you really want to like polish off the resume. You can pick PHP, Node. Those are the fundamental skills. Oh, obviously you need to know how to work with APIs. So you need to know how to grab data from someone else's server, and you need to know, no, you can't say no. You have to have the ability to figure out their documentation. So every person has like, this is how you get our data. Please use these parameters. You have to know how to work with that. It's going to be different at every company. Once you know that or have an idea of how to do that, start applying. For web dev.
Damn. Yeah.
I would say that's full stack if you can do that. API isn't hard. It depends. Some documentation is absolute garbage. What's a decent amount of projects in your portfolio? I would say at least 3.
Oh, okay. That doesn't seem that bad. 3.
No, you don't need like 10. Portfolio sounds like you're just like flipping for days through like a book. No, you just need 3.
The old like art briefcase portfolio thing where it's like the big panels, right? That's what I'm talking about. 5 to 7.
For UI UX, it depends. I think, yeah, you should have some case studies, usability tests in there. How much experience do I have? About 3 years. You say 5 to 7. I say 3, and then each one of those has the front end code, the mockups, wireframes, and a Marvel attached. So 3 times 3 would actually be 9 projects for UI UX.
Oh, okay.
I am a junior. Why am I interviewing? Okay. I'm doing a Q&A. Do I have a computer science degree? No, I do not. I have a mechanical engineering degree.
That's what I was thinking about going through for my bachelor's is CS degree, but no idea which focus to do. So there's like subsets you can do in it. So I've always been thinking about that.
Do I have a remote job or local? I have both. I have 2 jobs. One remote where I teach people and have similar conversations like this, but we actually bring up the IDE and we code and I show them what to do, like more hard skill type stuff. And then I have a local job, which is also partially remote, 3 days a week. So I go in, I'll probably go in tomorrow. I get Wednesday off, and then Thursday, Friday, I'll be at home. Or I might move my Wednesday to Friday and just work on Wednesday.
That's a flexible schedule.
I think if people say this to me, you're just a junior, why are you doing this? Well, because I want to help people. I don't need to be at like the 8-year mark to start giving back, I don't think. I've worked 2 jobs for most of my career now, and I just like to help people. So I've seen what goes on, and I've tried almost every aspect of this. I will admit that I'm not the best, right? But what's my average salary? My average salary, I don't know. I make $75,000 at my job. Why move from mechanical? Because it's a good old boys club where you have to wear khakis and slacks every day. Or khaki slacks, or like a button up with like a polo, and that is not me at all. You see this hair? You can't have this hair in mechanical engineering. That doesn't happen. What else? I don't know. It's just the culture there is like really old school, 8 to 5, no paid lunch. Like there's a mechanical engineering firm next to the place where I work, and every time I walk by, I just thank myself for moving away. Any tips on getting a remote gig? Yeah. It's going to be competitive, number one, but there are some things you can do. There are a lot of websites designed just for remote. So we work remotely.com, remoteok.io, Stack Overflow, go to preferences, check the remote box. That's a good place. There's no real, game-changing things you can do in your resume except say that you believe in working for the best companies no matter where you're at. That's a good place. That's usually a good thing. A lot of remote companies are like, we want the best talent no matter where you're at. So it's better if you come back on your cover letter and say, I like working for the best companies no matter where they're at, or something like that. Am I aware that the camera never goes to me? Yeah, that's because I have OBS up and I have my display capture, but it's already taken by the Hangout. So we'll do this. Here, I'll rant and you guys can see me. One moment. Why did I study mechanical engineering? Basically, it was just, I don't know, what my family was like, you need to get an engineering degree, get that safe job, safe and secure. And then like I did all that stuff and I got the job and I was doing like automation, mechanical automation stuff, like production lines and like sensors and like robotics and stuff. And then I got my job and it was just like Excel sheets, Word documents, and presentations and meetings where I could give, zero cares. Basically, it wasn't for me. They required me to wear business casual. First of all, you're going to require me to wear something? No. Unless I'm going to an interview or making a first impression. No, not happening. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not for me. I just don't like that culture, man. I like automation. I love like Python automation and machine automation, just not the company culture that comes with it. Also, there's zero mechanical engineering remote jobs, zero. And I enjoy being at home. I didn't mean to take this away from you. It's your turn.
No, that's fine. No, you have a lot more to speak on directly about it, but there's a question about they'd like both of us to answer about, are degrees heavily valued, or is recruiting based more on previous experience and skills? I think that it depends on what you're doing. Like, from generally speaking, uh from my experience, I mean, doing stuff that's not in web development, uh degrees are valued to a point, but really, even like when you're talking about like jobs that I'm doing right now, it's like, yeah, a degree would be nice and all, but what can you actually do? And so I think when in doubt, fall back on actual experience as much as you can, from my perspective.
So I have a lot of clicking. I have to move my mouse around because I didn't set this up right last minute. But age, I'm 27. I'll be 28 in 15 days. What else? Skills are heavily valued. Are degrees heavily valued, or is recruiting based on previous experience? So I'll let you answer again, but my answer would be degrees are good. It depends on what field you're in. You need a degree to do some things like engineering or being a doctor or being a lawyer. Like, would you let your friend be your lawyer in like a high profile case? Probably not. But do you need a degree to do UI UX design? Probably not. A lot of that information is available to you online. What about programming? There's so many free things out. You don't really need a degree to do any of that. It helps you. It shows employers that you've committed to a difficult task for a long amount of time. But other than that, there's not a whole lot you can't learn on the internet these days. Preach, preach, preach. Let me get off my podium. Most challenging thing about being a web developer is being comfortable with knowing that you're never going to know it all. At least for me. HRC's degrees and experience has the same thing. Yep. For web dev. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even I don't care if people put a degree. I don't even ask for it. I just care what they know and what they can do. Indifferent. You don't need to know Calculus 3 to do most of this stuff. And if you do, chances are someone's already done it and it's on Stack Overflow.
Well,
Um,
that's nice. I'm going to be taking Calculus 3 eventually.
for probably computer science, yeah. I mean, you have to take
Yeah.
the math eventually, but you're
Yeah.
not going to apply it on a day-to-day basis. You'll probably not. It's more about application in this field. Um, John, what's up, man? I waited for like 30 minutes. I'll respond to that email in a bit. Why do people reject you after you do take-home projects? Okay, number one, if someone gives you a take-home project, make sure you're compensated. I have made the mistake of not asking to be compensated when they want 4 hours of my time or they expect it to take a couple days. You should be compensated for that time. How do I how do I get over imposter syndrome? I don't. I just work through it, man. It's if the day that I'm over imposter syndrome, then I know I messed up. Like when I'm not feeling like a student anymore, that's not a good place to be. Like you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room, and if you are, it's time to change rooms. Go to a different company, get around different people. You need to stay in that student state. For most jobs. Hey, thanks, dude. Let's see.
I'm actually wondering about if you're new to programming, would you learn Python or JavaScript first? That was a good question because like I've wondered the same thing when I'm thinking about coding and stuff.
Because the majority of jobs for web development are going to be in JavaScript. The majority of machine learning, data science, hardware automation is going to be in Python. What do you enjoy more?
Oh, okay. So it just depends on what your focus is going to be then. All right.
You can do web development with Python. You can do almost everything with Python, but for the most part, JavaScript is the go-to language for web development. Python's a good backend language. You can do backend stuff with it. You can automate browsers. You can make desktop apps, but you can do that with JavaScript too. Python is just, it's got machine learning going for it in AI right now. So a lot of people are liking that JavaScript, Python. I don't know what my dogs are doing. They're just eating bugs on the floor. Okay, that's great. Most jobs, intimate knowledge of algorithmic programming is necessary. If you're a backend developer, yeah. If you're doing machine learning, yeah. If you're doing TensorFlow, that's what it's called, yeah. Who's your favorite student? I don't have one. They're all pretty chill. I don't pick and choose like that. It's like if you have kids, who's your favorite kid? Even though most parents probably have a favorite kid at that time. Depends on the day. But
It does depend on the day.
yeah. I mean, sometimes I have students where I'm just like, bruh, please. I wouldn't, why would I ever pick one over the other? I just like helping people, man. I'm not judging them. I just want to see them progress. Like when a student has that moment where it's like, oh, I get it. Then I'm like, yes, I did my job. I think I know what I'm talking about now. Oh yeah, TensorFlow JS, that's true. But there's a lot more momentum going for Python. What's a good stack to learn right now? Mern is pretty good. So Express, React, Node. You could do Laravel. PHP is pretty good. That's a good one. Angular, maybe. I don't really know Angular anymore. Let's see. Python is an easier typed language. Okay, I should have mentioned that. It's more phonetic. It's more like English. There's not semicolons like they have to put at the end of the line, you know. You don't have to do that in JavaScript anymore, but Python is a lot simpler to type, and it reads more. Student state, yeah, so you want to stay in the student state, but if you feel like you're not qualified to be in the room, that's fine. You just sit there and be a sponge. Doesn't matter. They hired you for a reason, man. They probably know. What kind of camera do I have for these video casts? I have a Logitech 1080. Strong or weakly typed? I don't know. I think it depends on the day. What does my search history look like? I'm not sure you want to know that. That's the last thing. That's my dying wish. I'm just gonna whisper to my family, clear my search history. That'll be it. Sorry, I can't tell you.
It's good to have in your will.
Yeah, clear my search history. Make sure to clear the cache, please. Um, yeah, I don't know. What else we got in here? What do you guys? What were you doing before? I was like, hey, bro, let's do a stream. I've never talked to you before. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was watching your video about when you were recording your interview you had. It was like back in May. You were recording an interview, and you mentioned your Discord. I was like, oh, I like Discord. I'll hop over there and check it out. Uh, Other than that, dude, I'm just like chilling right now. I got work in the morning, but like,
You have to go. You gotta go to sleep.
nah. I mean, eventually I do, but I'm
That's how I actually have to stay up and do work for the job. But I promised I would do this, so I have to be here. Um, your beard is tough, dude. That's because
dude,
he's a vet. It's required.
it was a gigantic bushy beard earlier today. I actually trimmed it today, and I messed up my neckline. Um, yeah, I was a little disappointed. But man, I there was something I was gonna ask, and it's probably like so simple and rudimentary. Oh, about so like I'm gonna start like working on a website for it's like my first like official thing that I'm gonna do outside of like school. Um, my it's for a nonprofit that's attached to a school. And I kind of want to have like a on one of the pages like a donate that links to their PayPal, and I don't want to have it. I don't know. And like I think the more that I talk out loud about it, I think I'm just you just kind of enter like a PayPal button that links to their site. But do you have any other like suggestions on like, hey, you could just put in like a like some fields in there that would do it? I don't know how it would
You need a
work
you
for
need
that.
a you need a back end for that. Otherwise, you're just gonna have to redirect for their site. You're gonna need like a payment processor, like Stripe or something like that. You don't want to go down that route if you're doing it for free and that's not your main focus. There's
Mhm.
probably another way you could do it. You could maybe do it like you do it like a WordPress maybe. Might be a little bit over your head. I would just say link to it and just be like click here to donate and then just have it open a new tab. Um,
Shop, I think also Shopify. What branch of military? I was Navy. I worked on airplanes in the Navy for 14 years, and it was a blast. I was going to use some sailor swearing, but I figured I'd refrain from
it's okay. This is free for all channel, judgment free zone. Please just don't get me demonetized.
that. All right. Yeah. But no, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's why you don't want to use Stripe or Squarespace if you can't. They take a percent and it's annoying to deal with. Shopify takes roughly the same. Dude, thanks for the service. For real, July 4th is coming up anyways. I know Veterans Day already
Oh,
passed, but might as well say it again.
you know, hey, thanks, man. You know what? Honestly, most vets don't know what to say for that other than you're welcome. And honestly, dude, I joined the Navy because I didn't want to like I had no idea what I wanted to do, so that's what I did. And here I am. But I think that they already signed up for Square so that they can take cards at like the functions that they do at the school. So if they already have Square, maybe I can just integrate that instead. Maybe put that in there on their site. I don't know.
That'd be cool. Um, let's see what we got here. Any more questions? Started with Excel, VBA, Python, hit a wall, turned to HTML, JavaScript. You're not sure if you want to go back end or front end. It's a pretty easy question. Do you get excited about the little things on the front page if something slides in or pops up or fades in or fades out? Or do you get excited about seeing a math function run and then seeing it run again and then trickle down through the different functions and then give you a number? So that's back end for the most part, or grabbing data in a certain order and then seeing that like you got the data. It depends. I'm a visual person. I like to see that stuff. Kevin, yo, what's up, man? Dreaded Dev sent you. I don't know if he has a YouTube anymore, but all right. Let me swap to me real quick. How do mobile apps interact with it? Probably through React Native. What makes you immediately reject a candidate or want to interview him? I'm going to say cover letter. Some people are going to disagree with that. I'm going to say if the person shows their willingness to learn and that if they have evidence that they've done it before or their portfolio. So if they don't have any evidence that they've proven to be able to learn multiple technologies over a short amount of time, then I'm going to want to see like a good portfolio. That's pretty much it. Like GitHub, I don't care so much. I'm gonna scan through it, see if you have any code that matches what we're using. If you do, good. If you don't, good. Um, Generally the cover letter, and if you put like if the structure of your resume also, like if it's just all over the place, spelling errors. If you have a spelling error, I'm a stickler. Like no, you need to get it peer reviewed. Come on, everyone knows this. You had to write papers in high school and give them to your friends. Like you do the same thing with a resume, and if you're not doing that, don't apply. Um, what's I was mentioning about monetize. So if you basically if you like curse too much and all that stuff, it's like not family friendly, and then your channel gets a slash, and if you get too many slashes, that's not good. Um, React Native is enough for mobile apps. What about backend and servers? It's pretty similar. You just SQL is SQL, no matter where you use it. It's just the front end on a mobile app is different. How you code that. It's not greatest for performance. You're right, but you don't have to learn Java or Kotlin or Swift, whatever they use now. Swift 54. Josh, am I still on 0 carbs? I had like 4 carbs today from a piece of beef jerky. That's really exact, I know, because I'm super paranoid. Any advice on learning Angular 5? Why learn Angular 5 when you can learn Angular 6 and when that comes out in 2 months? I swear. Every 2 weeks is Angular. 42-year-old dude. Do you have a chance? Absolutely. There's You might be thinking like age discrimination or your ability to learn it. I can't tell. You've built and published some apps. So number one, this is how you apply to a job if you're in like worried about your age. So you take off the dates that you graduated, take off the dates that you went to school, only have the dates of your employment. And then even then, if it shows one job that goes back like 30 years, probably don't put that date. You're not required to put dates. No one has to know that stuff. It's definitely possible. Watch my front end video. Trying to get a job. Subscribed. Hey, I'm subscribed to you, dude. Do I think my engineering degree, aside from my boot camp, helped me get a job? No, actually, I think it makes most employers think that I don't have an H1 or that I don't have citizenship and that I can't work. And I think it's actually pushed me away from jobs because I have a Finnish degree. So like I have the engineering degree, but it's from Finland and I'm in the US and they're like, "Oh, this guy's going to need a visa next." And I'm like, "Hold on, let me tell you my story." Like that's my whole life. Every time I apply to a job, I'm like, "Hold on, wait. Like that's how I am with anything in general because like I'm always the guy that's like, "All right, give me 2 weeks." Wait, hold on. Let me try. Like, it's not against the law to try and change someone's mind. But when someone gets told no, they're just like, "Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Well, I didn't mean to apply." Like, nah. No thanks.
All right.
That's just how I am. I did it once and it worked. And then I did it again and it worked. And I was like, all right, is this a thing? So now I'm just like, that's how I attack stuff. Because I don't know. If some guy's like, "Wait, hold on." And you're like, "All right, yeah, what's up?" Most of the time, people are nice. What type of industry is in need of React Native developers? I don't really know because I don't know it that well. What should I do if you have a GPA of 2.9, want to apply for a master's? I don't know how that works because I think if you have a bachelor's, you should probably just go ahead and get working, especially if you're in this field. Would I take stock if offered by a company, like for payment, or do I get stock and payment? There's a lot of startup jobs. Like if you go on AngelList right now, this might be a good thing for you, Dave. You could go on AngelList and apply, and there's a lot of startups that offer equity, and so you don't even have to ask to be paid because they're just offering you equity. It's like 1%, 2%. But if you make something and then you do your job and you quit, you get to keep it. And if that company ever goes public, you can sell it.
That's really good. I'm definitely going to be checking out the sites that you recommended because that's going to be a good way for me to start building my portfolio, building my confidence. Are there any?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, for someone who's going to start out like with front end, what type of like languages would you recommend to just like really hit hard or like focus on more? Like if you're looking at UI UX specifically.
You're gonna need to know Sketch or Balsamic. Number one, you're gonna need to have some wireframes. You're gonna need to have some user stories, and like they're gonna need to be styled good. So they're gonna need to be like they're known as personas, and basically that's age, description, and you're gonna need to get a bunch of them to review your app, and you're gonna have to basically show why your app or designs are viable because of these personas, and that you took all of these conditions and yeah, you get what I'm saying. But Sass for sure, CSS3. Learn some animations. It's called CSS animations. And then you're gonna need to know, like Photoshop. You're not gonna need to know that much. Most of the time, it'll just be like Sketch or whatever the Adobe equivalent is. I think Illustrator. I think. What do I do when managers ask for your current salary? You don't tell them. You ask them what the budget is for the job, and it's gonna get weird. I've said this before. Salary, like when you go to apply to a job, they're gonna be like, all right, well, what are you looking for? And I'll be like, well, I'm not really sure what the budget of the job is. Could you tell me that? And they're probably gonna pause, and it's gonna be real weird. You could cut that with a Cutco knife, but just don't say. Make them tell you your budget. Like, don't be the first one to give a number because they're gonna undercut you by default, and they're gonna make you come back. So make them tell you the budget.
Yeah, and I would check where you live. It might be illegal for them to ask you what you're getting paid if they're asking you that. Like they shouldn't be asking you how much you're making or how much you made in your last job. If they do, I don't know. I would give it a second thought, like about what the hell they're doing. Like
They want to cross-reference and make sure they're not getting ripped off, but they just have to trust you. And as much as it sucks to say, it's a game, right? You have to play the game because once you get that salary, it's going to be a lot harder to get more money, and you're just going to have to go through the process to get 3% raises rather than if you just initially held your ground and you were like, yo, I want 70,000. Your budget is 50, and then they're like, all right, well, you can do like 45, and you're like, nah, I want 70. Well, either they're going to be like, well, I don't know if we're on the same page, and then you're like, all right, well, then I need $55,413 to make this work. Right? Just give them a random exact number, and they're like, whoa, this guy really knows his stuff, what he needs. Let me read here. What else we got?
If I could answer one from David Lee, any good resources to learn about UI design? I'm pretty handy with HTML, CSS, and odd JavaScript framework, but my design skills suck. Like that's similar to like what I'm kind of going through right now. Is like um, I decided to go on this whole thing because I took an HTML class and I was like, shit, this is fun. Like this is a lot of fun. I like it a lot, and so I decided to dive into it. And I looked at my and mine just happened to be like circumstance, and I looked at my course requirements for webmaster certifications at my school, and it was like, hey, I have to take all these Adobe, classes, and through like learning Adobe, InDesign was a really fun class, and that's a really fun program to work with, and Illustrator and Animate and Dreamweaver. Those ones, like if you just want to like mess around with them on your own, the Creative Cloud Suite's kind of expensive if you're not a student, but if you're willing to shell out the money for a 1 year subscription, it's not bad to tool around with those things, man. Or similar type of services that you can get for cheap or free would be good. Just like mess with them and like I don't know, just like do stuff and like make up like a fake company and like, oh, this is Joe Blow's lawn service, and like you're making a website for like a sandwich shop in town or whatever. Just like pretend if you have to. I don't know. Like that's what stuff I'm thinking about doing if I can't find anybody to make a site for. But I think I'll find some work.
Just make your own work. Make your own company and then make your own work. Like your job can be to make your own website so that you can get jobs. Like I mean obviously that just counts as like portfolio, but if you treat it like a freelancing opportunity, how would you encourage someone to begin learning something new? I would say that 90% of people's failures come from stuff that they don't do, not from failing. Like regret weighs heavier than the pain of failure. Regret weighs like 400 times as much as failing at something. So I promise you, at the end of your life, you're gonna be like, oh man, I wish I should have done that. You're not gonna remember, oh, I did it and then I messed up. Like no one's gonna remember that. You've messed up lots of times. How much do you think about that? Probably not a lot. You're probably just wishing all the things that you did do. Um, so you're either all right. Here. You want to learn something new? You'll be better. This is the joke, right? So it's like knock knock. Who's there? Second place, and then second place who? Right? No one remembers second place. So you want to be the best you can. So that's just get learning. Holy crap! I had to scroll down like 10 miles. I guess my chat was stuck.
Oh, Adobe Experience. Okay, I had to check that. I have to check that one out for UI. It's actually free. So when my 1 year subscription is up, then I'll check that out.
All right, WordPress worth learning. Yeah, it's worth learning. Like you're gonna need to know it. Like there's some times where just WordPress just like fits the niche. Like real estate, for example, WordPress is like your go. Like WordPress is your go-to. There's like 9 million plugins for real estate. So easy. You just add the houses, give your users some logins. Like, here you go, easiest $5,000 you could charge in your life. Working with WordPress will be the most likely people. That's not true. That's not. My first job was Ruby on Rails, and I learned JavaScript. They were like, all right, well, you learned that pretty quick. You can learn this. Here you go. No, what? Hold on.
How was it learning Ruby on Rails, by the way?
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
So this is in code, right? You push your code up, and then the boss approves it, and then merges it into like the real app. Well, I did that myself. I didn't wait for his approval. I merged my own code into production, and he was like, Josh. He like looks at me. He's like, never do that again. And I'm like, you got it. I don't know why I was allowed to do that. It was probably on them for giving me that permission. But it was like day one, and I was like, oh, I know how to do that, and it was too late. Messed up. Yeah, WordPress can get to be plugin hell. It's just plugins on plugins on plugins, and then you end up it's not web development. It's learning how to use other people's tools, like just learning other people's interfaces and like reading instructions. What else we got? Just subscribe. Hey, thanks, man. What kind of stack you use in Ruby? There's only a couple stacks used right now, and it's Ruby on Rails or Sinatra. What else? Touch on the salary thing. No, play the game, dude. Like, if you feel like you're being overpaid, so what? No one has to know how you feel, bro. Just keep it between you and yourself. I mean, unless you feel like you really have no idea, like, why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. Maybe you might think that I just have flexible morals, but I would have some more confidence. If you feel like you're being overpaid, all right, so what? That's not your problem. Like if they're happy with the work that you're doing and you feel like you're being overpaid, that's not your problem. I don't know. That's kind of a blunt answer.
I mean, there's a reason that they decided to pay you that level of pay. So, I mean, take it.
What else we got here? Yeah, so like they're going to play the game. They're trying to get the best bang for their buck. So think about it this way. For every dollar that you're getting when you feel overpaid, the guy above you is getting like $50. And I guarantee you, he's not 400% smarter than you, but he's making 4,000% more money than you. Okay?
Yeah.
What else? What's the pay range for a junior developer in Sacramento, California? Well, let me tell you, because I live in Salt Lake City, I have no idea. I would say about $45,000 to $60,000.
You can go on Glassdoor or Indeed.
Yeah, do that.
Those like work job searching websites. They'll tell you like you'll get a range for it, but like it'll differ like on who hires you. So.
What else we got? How do I feel about someone who's 19 but doing web dev? No, it doesn't matter. They're just gonna either one, they're gonna be really impressed that you're already there, or they're gonna be jealous because it took them so long to realize what they're good at. Don't feel weird.
Yeah, I would feel the other way. I mean, I'm 38, dude, and I'm expecting to go like if I was to get a job tomorrow at a firm, I'd expect to see nothing but like people your age and up to like 25 being like managers and stuff. I'm like, Dude, don't age won't matter is what I'm learning. Is just your skills will matter.
Age doesn't matter too much. It depends on the field and the initial cost to train you is mainly what it comes down to. But if you have enough experience already in your portfolio, and then that's not a huge deal because they'll just expect you to be there. Should you pick up Sketch? Yeah, you should learn both. To be honest, you need to learn both. Sketch is really good. It has a lot of plugins like Zeppelin. So I use Zeppelin at work. The UI screenshots basically get exported into HTML and CSS, and it's almost copy and paste. It's not quite copy. It's just CSS really, but Zeppelin is really good. It also has InVision integration, Marvel integration. Sketch or XD is a little bit behind, but that's why they made it free because they know they need to up their game. And Windows is the platform. I don't know why Sketch only holds it to Mac, but Adobe's like, all right, we have a chance here. Let's make it open source, get people's feedback, and then make it good. Exer, I've never seen that. Yeah, so like I don't know. I like the Sketch's user interface more myself.
Okay, I'll have to check out XD because I have a Windows machine at home, so.
Yeah, it's not too bad. XD's not bad. And then there's like InDesign, I think.
InDesign's good. That's a more of a like publishing, but you can do like you can set up for web layouts. You can set up like, and that might be something that some people want. Like depending on what you're doing, if you do a small project for like some organizations doing an event like a 4th of July thing or Labor Day, whatever the hell, and they want like a splash page, like hey, this is like for their advertisement, but then they're also going to take it to the printer. You could use InDesign to do that because you can set up the bleeds and trims so that the printer knows what to do. And then they can just take that same file, the digital version of it, and put it up on their site. So it's like more cost efficient for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, don't worry about it. Like generally, if you're UI UX, you're probably gonna get handed a drawing pad or an iPad so that you can sketch stuff because they understand that's part of the creative process. For most people, they're gonna probably give you a Mac and they're probably gonna give you a Sketch. A lot of companies even give you what's known as an office budget. You'll see that a lot with remote jobs, which are usually always, I have never gotten a response from one that's had an office budget, but they're like, we'll fly you out to your favorite conference twice a year. We'll give you $5,000 for whatever you want in your office. We'll subsidize your internet and pay your phone bill, right? Obviously, they're going to get 4,000 applications, but even at an office job, it's still the same thing. Any advice for a designer who wants to switch to web dev? You need to start with learning that JavaScript and jQuery so that you can get them animations fresh. And then after that, I would learn React. React's going to be a little bit different. You're going to have a lot more files in your folder. So what I mean by that is like right now you have an index and a CSS file and like maybe a couple other files. Like a React project is going to have like 30 files in it. You're like, what is all this for? It's just setup. It's just config. It comes with it by default. If you know the basics of JS, can I get a job? Probably, I don't know, it depends on the job. I would say that's exceptionally junior. Basics of JS. There's a lot of, okay, I take that back. You're not going to get a job doing JS if you only know the basics. You're going to get a job doing HTML and CSS and front-end work. So yes, you can get a job.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of HTML. Email templating is a huge market right now. Oh, my bad. That was loud. So email templating, you know the emails that you get on Gmail or whatever, right? And you see how that's all styled? That's like some guy's main job is to create those. Because you can't, like right now, they don't support JavaScript in emails. I don't think that they do. Because you can inject stuff, right? Malicious stuff. So right now, all you have is HTML and CSS for email templating. So if you look up HTML email, there's a lot of jobs for that specifically. They'll actually probably ask you about that. Yeah, you can use iframes, but it depends. I won't open anything in an iframe. Hiring manager didn't, let's see. Truce Bruce. Yeah, she just really liked the other person. That happens, dude. I mean, it's just It's just life. Switching out of sciences into computer science. Dude, I'm so glad that you realized huomenta. That means good morning in Finnish. What's up, Isaac? Let's see. So you have a template that converts like crazy. Charge 5K for it and markets will buy. I don't know. You need to have the audience first. It's not what like so. This is the thing about marketing and sales. You can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have distribution, then you have nothing. If you can't get it in front of people, it doesn't matter how good your product is. That's why. So like Amazon Prime, for example, Amazon Prime sucks. It doesn't have a lot of not Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime Video sucks. They don't have a lot of great shows, in my opinion. A couple, but they have distribution. They have like 4 billion email accounts. Like, that's what they're building. They're building distribution. And then, you know, do I like memes? Do I like memes? Thanks for the stream. Hey, thanks for joining. It's not that hard. It's still possible, Cameron. I still have to stay up late. It's probably till probably 3 a.m. and then go to the office at like 7. So I'll probably drink some pre-workout for coffee tomorrow. So that'd be fun.
Coffee.
What?
Put it in your coffee there.
Yeah. Well, so what I've been doing is like put like the sparkling water and then I pour pre-workout. So it's like Diet Dr. pre-workout. It's disgusting. I don't recommend it, but I'm so bored of regular.
Yeah.
How do you run a function when a submit button is pressed? I'm trying to get input value through a function, then print out the different string from the if statement. Yeah, so you can use .onClick if you want to go that route. You could also go to the HTML button and add the attribute onClick equals function name. And then obviously whatever's in that function will run. What else?
Gammon Monkey with your Illustrator and Photoshop being laggy, you can try like a setting, or you might just have to upgrade your machine. I don't know, but if it stutters, like I haven't had any problems, and I have pretty mid-range equipment, so going back that far. And then Corey, I'm gonna butcher your name if I try it, but your last name. But the overpay question, when I revisit that, like I suppose, if you still try to get a raise at your next job, yeah, you should like whatever you can get, man. Like if we get back on the pay stuff, but I mean, you should try to get as much as you can for what you're willing to do. That's like any job you're willing to do.
Let's see what else we got. So Shugoki, I would one up you there, and I would say that I believe it is the reason that we have VR and the HTC Vive. Can you add an event listener? Yeah, you would. I mean, you can, but that's a lot more code. Should backend web developers learn React? If you want to be able to communicate with the other people at work, kind of affordable equipment. You could use a Chromebook if you wanted. I mean, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Illustrator, I mean, like Adobe stuff can be resource heavy, but like, I don't know. I have like a gaming laptop, but it's not like super duper high end or anything. It's in like an HP Omen, so like it's not like way up here. It's mid range. Pick up $100 for it, like 900 to 1100, depending. You'll be good for most Photoshop and Illustrator shit stuff.
If you wanna have a good computer, just get a lot of RAM and a decent video card, and you're good. Most of the changes, like, so the reason it's RAM heavy, right? Because you have all these undos that you can do, like that it holds all that information for you. So you have large, like high textured photos. Those are like 25, 30 megabytes sometimes. Let's see. How should you go about asking people to pay you for take-home interview projects? Just say, hey, will I be compensated for this project? I'm very busy. I would really like to complete this, but my time is valuable to me. I don't know. Just be cordial about it. To make them understand that, I mean, if they don't respect your time, are they going to respect you? Come on. I mean, that's the most valuable thing you have. Don't, like, I don't know.
That's an excellent question, because like I know that like if I was if it was like, a take home interview project and, like you're already in that position where like, oh man, I really want to, like internally you're thinking like, man, I really want to get this job. I want to make sure it goes well, but like, I don't want to seem greedy.
I think you're protecting your value. It's hard. It's in the moment. It's hard to do that and be like, "Yo, am I gonna get paid for this?" Like, who's gonna say that? Like right after, because you're so excited, especially because like if you have no money and you just want to get the job right away, you'd be like, "Yeah, I'll do it, no problem." Like, don't let them do that. You'd be like, "Will I be compensated for this?" Just let them know that you're busy. They don't have to. They don't have to know that. Where didn't we get off topic? I think we got off topic a little bit.
A little bit, sorry. Pay is always a big thing for everybody.
All right, one person says, "Come on, no BS. What does it really take? How much work? Kind of projects that drive results. You want projects that drive results? All right, you need an application that uses APIs, connects to a database. You need to be able to demonstrate that you know inner joins, outer joins, and SQL search functions. You also need to know Sass and how that compiles down into CSS. You need to know React or one other equivalent front-end framework, such as jQuery. That's not good, though. You need to know what an MVC is. You need to know HTML5 and accessibility. Those are all things that will really boost your ability to get a job. Hopefully that answers your question, Revitalize. I said that already, but maybe it helps. Everybody's in here. Like we're streaming, but they're having their own conversation, so we can just talk. I feel like I'm gonna go make some dinner or something. Everybody in here just driving the community. I've been mutinied. They're just doing their own thing. That's fine. No, I like it. Like I want the community to talk, right? So, you should be paid for take home. So like, I don't know. You gotta protect your time. If you're giving you a take home test, don't let the excitement get to you. It can be hard, especially when you've never gotten paid to do anything in code. Just ask. The worst they can say is, sorry, no, we can't do that right now. And then you still do it anyways. But if you don't ask, like maybe you're missing out on $100, right?
Right, yeah.
Revisualize. This is recorded, so you can go back and do it if you want. So after this, it'll go up on the page, and then Dave's going to be famous. He's going to be the front man for this channel.
No, just the beard. Everything else.
He's going to be the Bearded Vet. That'll be his name. You need to change your name from Dave in Hangouts to Bearded Vet. Windows or MacBook for coding? MacBook because of Unix. It's more stable. The commands are more similar to Linux. It's a lot more setup with Windows. Oh, Revisualize. I'd also say you need to have three projects in your portfolio. It can help if you have a little bit of UI, or if you create an API. That'll be good. All right. So it's 11:19. I have some work to do. You guys have any other questions? Did you get the job from a month ago? I think that's a completely different person. They think that you're Troy. No, we're doing a different video with Troy. Yeah. If MacBook, why do I use Windows? I use Windows because I work on an ASP.NET application, and that's a Windows application. So it's not like I'm forced to use it, and it's not that hard to set up the alternative. It just takes a little bit of time. And once you have it set up, you do it once, and then you get a new job 3 years later, and you have to remember how you did it. That's kind of a pain, but it's not that bad. Did I get an offer from the job interview that I recorded? No, I did not, because I did not follow up with them. Plus, it's a 6-month contract, so the entire time that I'd be working there, I'd be looking for another job because I have a mortgage. And I asked if there was a chance that I could be brought on full-time at the end of that, at that 6-month contract, and they told me, well, there's a chance. We're currently looking to hire about one person from our list of 25 other contractors. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to pass on that.
Yeah.
So no thanks. A UI UX joke? There's an intern? I don't know nothing. I don't know what you mean. You're late. It's okay. It'll be recorded. Hit us with some more questions, and then let's do like 10 more minutes, and then you can go to bed. And I don't know. At contract work, I would be hard unless I knew that I was financially secure, like as my side job or something. Great. First job, great. You need money, great. When you need a certain amount of money, contracts are like, all right, well, this is not guaranteed. I don't get how people do it unless they like live with their parents or I don't know.
That's what I'm looking at starting. Because like right now, I have a full time job, and I'm looking at starting web development as like a side gig, and then have that take over my life fully and engrossing, and then you know,
That's the dream, really.
yeah. So it's
First,
gonna start off as like a hobby I get paid for, almost like a step above a hobby. You know, it's a second job basically that I can do at home and at work because I'll just type on my laptop at work.
exactly. Yep. Um, First full-time job. What languages? JavaScript, PHP, Python. About it. Uh, Would I work for contracting companies who work for people like Citi? Would I work? So you're asking me if I work in finance? No, because I don't want to deal with those types of people. They only care about the bottom line. It's literally a bank. Come on. I enjoy my time and my life outside of code. Best investment ideas, real estate, but I would say wait a little bit on that. Market's looking a little strange, but it depends on your credit. If you got good credit, I would go ahead and wait, and if you don't have good credit, probably now's a better time to buy, because if you wait till the market crashes and you have bad credit, no one's going to give you a loan. What's the other best investment idea? Invest in yourself? Duh, that's the cheesy answer. Let's see. Move to the U.S. Yeah, you can get H-1B visas, no problem. They have to prove that they can hire someone different than a U.S. person, but it's actually not that hard to prove. And when I say prove, it's like, sorry, we looked. Like, that's it. What do I think of meetups? I hosted meetups for a while. They were like cryptocurrency meetups. They were kind of neat. I don't know. I feel like the people at some of the meetups have never seen other human beings before. That's kind of weird. But this is the stereotype you run into, and there's probably a stereotype because that happens. Here we go. Could I please introduce yourself for those? So my name is Josh. I graduated at Code Bootcamp a few years ago. I was like the dumbest kid in the class. Struggled my way through it. Got a first job because he said no, and I said, wait, hold on, give me 2 weeks. I didn't say that. I said, wait, hold on, let me do part-time. It'll make your company look good like you're hiring fresh tech out of a boot camp because you're a startup, and then you can use that for PR and other deals. That was my angle. And he's like, oh, I'll call you back. And so that's how I got my first job, and I've been doing this since. I have a mechanical engineering degree. I don't like mechanical engineering. I don't like the culture. I don't like you can't work remote. I don't like the fact that there's no side gigs. You can't have a mechanical engineering side gig. Oh, by the way, I'm building this bridge for the government on the side at night. Like, that doesn't happen. What else? That's me in a nutshell. I'm just a normal dude trying to help people. Let's see. Side job coding gigs. AngelList, Upwork. Do I want to get married again? No. How can you start playing around with APIs? Go to Giphy. Go to your Google search bar and then type Giphy space API. How much debt am I in over my mechanical engineering degree? 0. It was a free degree. I got it in Finland. I got it in Finland. Finland was tuition free. So I don't have any. What kinds of foods do I eat? Right now I'm on keto, so just a bunch of butter and protein, and I don't know. I miss pizza so bad. I just want to lava. I have dreams about cakes and pizza. Like, I shouldn't be dreaming about this. It's so weird.
You're better off.
I don't know. We'll see. The girlfriend's out of town. Get a little shred while she's gone. Did I work as much? Yeah, so I worked for a year and a half as a mechanical engineer, and I did not like it. I was in a cubicle, not only a cubicle, but a cubicle like this was my screen, and then someone's right here with his other screen, and like we were sitting at angles at each other, looking like this at our screens, and like you were only allowed to have one headphone in. What else? I don't know. 12-hour work days. Those kind of were bummer. I couldn't work from home. I had the flu one day. Came in, I was like, hey, I only have some Excel, and I'm making this presentation for a meeting. And they were like, well, we can give you an office to reserve, but you're going to have to leave if people reserve it. And I'm like, but I'm sick. I'm going to get the flu in that office, and then those people that go in there are going to get sick. Well, sorry, we don't have sick days here. Okay, that's fine. I'll just sit at my cubicle and get everyone sick.
That's irresponsible on the company's part.
I don't get it. I asked. He's like, well, let me go ask my boss. And then that person went to ask. Like, he went like 3 chains up. And then he was like, sorry, it's not in the handbook. I was like, really? Are you a human? Get out of here. And that was kind of like cemented one of those moments where I was like, well, not doing this again. What went wrong? I don't know. That's the question I still ask myself. She never gave me an answer. You just amazing 3 slices of pizza picks, or it didn't happen. Do web devs have much of a social life? Free time? I mean, it depends on the job and depends on how much you protect that while you're at work. If you tell the employer up front, you're like, work-life balance is good to me, or I don't know. It's your job to protect that. Office versus cubicle versus open tables. Kill myself, remote. That's what I pick.
Yeah.
If I had to pick from one of those, I would pick an office that I can close the door. What's my age? I'm 27. Where'd I work? Who wants to know? Yeah. Get out of here. Yeah. Have I worked at a shared working space? Yeah, I tried that when I was working remote, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a bunch of dudes trying to like look better, creating their startup. Like, oh, I got a startup, and then some guy's over another corner, like writing on the whiteboard for no reason. Like, dude, just buy a whiteboard and do it at home. Why are you trying to like make a big deal out of yourself? I don't get it. And then you try to talk to them, and all they want to talk about is like the whiteboard. I was like, all right, that's cool. Your startup's cool, but like, are you cool? Can we just talk? Some guy's in there like with the Bluetooth in his ear, and he's like just scribbling all over the whiteboard in the shared working space. He's just like pacing back and forth, and he's like not even on the phone. He's just doing it. If I had to look for a new job, what would I look for? I wouldn't. I would just try to work for myself until I ran out of money, and then I'd get a new job. I would probably go really, really hard on YouTube, and I would amp up my teaching job, and then I would probably Uber the difference. So my job right now is really chill. I like the people that I work with, and the people that I work with like me. They always give me problems that I don't know how to solve, and then I usually come to them with a solution. So it's like a good dynamic of constantly like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll figure it out. Who's that in the background? Hopefully there's no one in the background, because I'm the only one here.
It's a dog. I think it's one of your dogs.
How much does YouTube pay? It depends. The YouTube doesn't pay. It's the ads that run on the videos. I don't get like a salary. Depends on the video. Depends on how many views. Do I have any ghost stories? No.
If you want YouTube to pay, then you have to go move to Mountain View.
Yeah, if you want to like work for YouTube and get paid.
Yeah, that's how YouTube pays.
Working in a startup versus working in a tech company. I would take startup because I like learning myself. There's still mentors at a startup, so you just have to barter for their time more. Like the CTO is going to be your mentor. He's not always going to be available. You got to be okay with that. You got to be okay with knowing that what you put out is going to have an effect on your livelihood and the other people's livelihoods, because it's a startup. Investors gave them money and they want it back. How do you feel about that? I don't know. They have Nerf guns and they probably feed you and have all this fun time that you won't experience because you're too busy working to make the investor money back.
I'd rather play Nerf at work.
What?
I'd much rather actually work than play Nerf at work.
I'd rather work and then not mess around and then go home and then have my life.
Yep.
Where do I get my audio, video equipment? Any recommendations? Yeah, I have the links in the description if you want. So this currently is a Sony A63 camera. This is a Blue Yeti microphone, and then I have this is called a Dead Cat. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's to the microphone that plugs in. Yeah. Do I work with React? No, I work with C#. Android development or iOS? I'd go with Android. Just because I don't have anything iOS.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all good.
Was it pretty quick for you to learn C#? Was that like no problem at all?
C# I knew because I built a mobile game in C# on Unity.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I have a little game on the App Store. You can download it, but it sucks. I built it with the free version of Unity. If you want it optimized for like different phones and like different graphics cards, you have to pay like $30. And I was like, yeah, no. Anyways, um, do I want to ever be a? Do I want to ever be? Would I want to be a CTO? Not really. My goal is to be self-employed so that I can. I like doing this more than I like sitting at a job coding. I rather like work on a side project for myself, figure this out, and then teach it to you guys. Like that's the goal. Um, we got 2 live projects. That's good. What happened to the game that I was making? Fortnite came out and basically smashed it. So I'm one guy trying to network live servers and players, and I don't know C#. I don't have a lot of assets. I don't have animations working that good, and then I'm networking it. On top of that, I'm trying to like, make menus, and I would still make it. I've actually have some Unreal courses that have multiplayer support. I might do. Do I see myself still coding in 5 years? Yeah, probably. But it would be more. It'll be more for like automation and stuff. Maybe like for drones or. It'll be for automation more than web development. Where do I get the music? It's called Epidemic Sound. I wish I had a link to give you, but I don't. You have to apply for a link. It's so dumb. They told me no. Do I struggle to keep myself on one project? No, not really. I close my eyes, it's super cheesy, and I see where I want to go, and then I go.
Would you work for Pornhub improving their site?
Yeah, of course I would, duh.
That's money right there. It's a big site.
Easiest job of my life, are you kidding me? I don't know if I'd get a lot done. I'd probably be too busy. Next question. Recommend something for a senior undergrad. I don't know. Why are you so concerned, fam? Oh, yeah. Why don't they hire? Because no one's going to apply publicly. Duh. You know how there's like those sites like, see how you compare, see how you stack up. Like, bruh. Come on. Dude, that's so much money, but actually they're in Canada, so. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be able to have a relationship if I worked there, especially because the office is open and everyone's trying to fix bugs. Hard pass in the most literal way.
Oh, one. All right. What was that?
David,
All right.
it's your time to shine.
I don't know. Would I work for the big five versus a startup? I don't know. I think it would depend on the work and what was offered. I mean, like I know that a startup wouldn't be able to offer necessarily as much as one of the bigger, firms or something like that. But I think it would depend on the work involved and also the security. Because I mean, I got 2 kids to take care of. Man, it's not just about me. So, like, if it came down to it, like, which one do I feel secure at? I'm very used to sucking it up and doing what I need to survive for my family rather than what my pure passion is. But as close as I can get to making both of those line up is the dream. So security over passion, but both are a priority.
I like that answer. What else we got? Is UI UX a software engineer or graphic designer? They're neither of those. Graphic designer. All right, I take that back. It's a little bit of both, I would say. User experience is more as a psychological thing for users using a website, and UI you need to be creative, and most of that is graphic design. But you're not doing like back end stuff or really coding that much. It's more about creating something sleek that drives the user to an endpoint or somewhere that you need them to go. And then the less clicks and the better you can get there, the smoother. Like, I don't know. There's a lot in it. It's a lot of studying.
This whole thing is definitely helping me to decide where I'm going to put my focus more. And like, I is answering a lot of questions I never thought that I'd have ever asked. of like,
Well, this
hey,
is
what am
good.
I gonna?
Everybody gets some value. At least that's the goal. I'm not trying to like the whole entire goal here is not to like tear anyone down, you know. Um, tell you something about data science. Yeah, so you take a bunch of numbers and strings, and then you print out statistics. That's basically it. So you run the data from people, like where they live, address. You watch what they're buying, and then you watch. You know, you ever seen that thing in your Amazon cart, like other users purchased this? Like that's data science.
That's like getting into like big data and stuff too, isn't it? Like,
Exactly. Yep. It's just using data-driven stuff to figure out what people's habits are. That's basically you are. You're just figuring out people's habits by watching what they do. Um, Power B or Tableau? I don't know. Yo, Elliot, I'm glad that I could help. I really hope that my answers just didn't sound like fluff to you. Um, better description. I don't even remember what I just said. It's just figuring out people's habits. I'm pretty sure. I watch people do it. Like I always say this, but like there was a guy at my first job. He was a data scientist. His job was to collect 2 data points and figure out like everything about them. You know, like what color their shoes are, and he only has is like the MAC address of their phone. You know, like they're wizards in that capacity that they can basically use statistics, psychology to figure out people's habits, and then help design the product from that standpoint to maybe like recommend certain products that other people have been buying together. Uh, let's see.
move from learning CSS to JavaScript. I mean, as someone who I just finished I mean, and it's different for me because I'm going through like college and I have classes for it. And I just got done learning CSS, and the next one I plan to take is JavaScript. But I would say, like, dude, I yes, you don't have to worry about being competent enough. Just can you type? Can you put your fingers on your keyboard in home row and then type? That's basically all you got to do, as far as I can tell. Like, and then type and have a willingness to learn, and that's it. You can learn anything you want, man. I used to work on airplanes, and I didn't know shit about airplanes other than then they were in the air. But I could tell you a lot about them today.
Um, Yeah, people say they wouldn't work at the one big five. Okay, so I actually have an interview with a guy that's the CEO of a blockchain now. He was a senior manager engineer at Google, and he quit because they were having problems with people sleeping under their desk because they can't afford to. It's not worth it to pay for rent to go home. So the Google made a new rule that basically said you have to go home every Friday. Like so, you have to have a home. You can't sleep here anymore. So basically, Google pays your breakfast, lunch, and dinner because they don't want you to leave, and then they have like all this rec time. It's like basically joining the army of software. Like you can't do anything, you just work, and you stay on base.
Live that life. What am I in school for? Generally speaking, bachelor's in computer science. I'll figure out some focus along the way. But like I'm picking up webmaster certifications that my community college offers, and yeah, it's just like it's really opening up. Like, I mean, I might get to a point where I might not actually even get a computer science degree, depending on how if things work out. But I don't see that actually happening. I'm going to actually get my bachelor's. I don't know. What school right now? I'm in Southern California, so Riverside Community College, which is actually 3 colleges around the district, but predominantly RCC's central campus. I'm going to transfer probably to University of California Riverside or Cal State San Bernardino, just because they're closest. I know that like UC Irvine has a great program. Cal State Fullerton has some good ones, but I'm like, they're a commute, man. I got a full time job, and I'm a dad, man. I gotta stay close to home.
I would say for the other questions, um, any recommendations for a cryptocurrency side project? Yeah, make an ERC20 token, and then build an app with that. So a DApp, decentralized application, is what a DApp is. Um, hold on to your Bitcoin. Yeah, you should probably hold on to that. Um, you get unlimited PTO at Google and other places. Yeah, it's pretty popular in the software world, but it's reverse psychology, bro. So like they guilt trip you into not taking it because you have unlimited. So like you don't know how much you can take. That's the thing. Like, can you take 5 weeks? What is that too much? Like it makes this unwritten rule, and then you don't know how much is too much because unlimited is so, you know, yeah. I'm not saying that it's bad. You just probably can't be like, oh, I'm taking 6 months off, right? Take the time that you need. Well, I need like 6 months. I said at the did I say it was at the California one at like Mountain whatever, I don't know, it depends on you. If you like that life, do it. Maybe Google's changed. I'm telling you what the CEO told me. I'm not making that generalization. He worked there. IT, nah. IT is gonna be automated. Avoid.
Yeah, I went through a Cisco networking academy at my school, and I scored well on it. And I was like, wow, yeah, I understand what you're talking about. But I was like, no, I don't want to be stuck in the basement of a server farm looking at blinking lights and having like 3 people to talk to the entire day. That's what I saw myself doing, like fishing packets and stuff.
Yeah, so unused is exactly what Dan says. He says like they're avoiding. It's their way to avoid out paying top time or paid time off, pretty much. So if you have 5 weeks vacation, but you feel weird about asking for that, or you don't know how much you have and you only ask for 2 weeks like normal, then they don't have to pay out that extra vacation. I don't know about the saner management. He told me that they have death marches, especially in the Android department, where basically they bring you in for 14 hours, and if you don't get that shit delivered, then no job for you. But it depends on your manager, of course. Google's a huge company.
Sounds pretty metal, dude. Death March is like.
It sounds like I don't want to work for a company that doesn't value my time. Like, yeah. I don't know. Think about it. You're selling your time for like $30 an hour. Is that what you're worth? No. Like, I don't know. And especially because, Google pays $100,000, whatever, lots of money to their employees, but they're still rich. So how much are they actually getting off of you? Yeah, nope. Yeah. We still talk. Yeah, we're out here. We're supposed to end like 23 minutes ago, but whatever. This is fun. Dave's fun.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go now. For real, 56 people. This is amazing. I never expected this. Hope this content has been helpful. Dave, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on and being willing, since no one else was. This is different, but we'll see you guys later.
Man, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. I got a lot of information, and I'm glad that I could help out, man, in any way. So cool.
Yeah, dude. I hope some people gain some value from this. The UI UX, just general code talk. Mentor him each week until we get a job. Yeah. I don't know. He's doing school. He's already super busy. He doesn't have time for this. What else? Great stream. Thank you guys. Be sure and smash the like. I don't know. Whatever they say. You know what to do. I don't shill. It feels weird. I will eventually, probably. Just kidding. When's the next stream? I don't know. Let's see. I have 5 videos in queue that I need to edit right now, so I probably need to get one of those out. I'm trying to get one video a day out. If it's not a video, it'll be a stream. So, for UX with no experience but a folio. How do you have a folio without experience? Falcon, punch the like button and the subscribe, please. Twitter account to let us know. Yeah, sure. Just look up my name. It's just /Joshua Fluke. Uploading video a day. Yeah, well, I mean, ain't nobody got time to watch 2-hour live streams. But maybe I should cut these up into highlights. So I don't know. We'll see. Eventually, I'll get there. I'd like to do this full time, make projects, help people get where I'm at. That's my whole goal. I have other people I know that can answer your super detailed technical stuff that I don't really have time to do because I prefer to help other people in my free time. The YouTube promotion algorithm? Okay. All right, guys. We're going to head out. Later, dudes.